This is for you, Heather. Thusly, we begin the intrigue and drama that is weekly right here on TGD Today. It's Pro Golf Talk Live. The drama. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dunhill Links.
I tell you what, man, like you and I were just talking about it, Carnoustie looks unbelievable.
It's gorgeous, dude.
It is phenomenal. That's for my good friend Lee Vannett, pro over there in Scotland. He grew up there, and, I mean, it's just what a great place.
Well, normally you see the fairways pretty lean, pretty brown, you know, at this time of the year, especially it's 1st of October for you. Yeah. And I know we're dating the show, but, I mean, it is the Dunhill Links, and this is, again, a Pro-Am event where celebrities and athletes and parents and whoever, you know, Brooks Koepka and his father's in it. And so, but, again, for this time of the year and to look at Carnoustie and even the old course at St. Andrews, and they're playing basically on 3 different courses there during the Dunhill Links, and everybody plays all 3 at least once, and they'll finish up on the old course as they do every year. But it's just absolutely gorgeous, and, you know, some of these guys are just throwing numbers up. The old course today, Christopher Bromberg is right now in the lead at St. Andrews on the old course. He shoots 8 under 64.
Pretty impressive.
The weather is just dead perfect,
calm.
dude.
It's calm, and you can tell, George, they've had some precipitation over there because, I mean, these golf courses over there aren't this green.
Well,
you
they're
just
gorgeous.
Don't see that.
They're gorgeous. I mean, it looks like you could putt on the tee boxes, the fairways, and the greens. I mean, there's just not a lot of difference between the surfaces.
Mm-hmm.
And so just absolutely gorgeous. A lot of fun to watch. Jimmy Mullen is at 8 under likewise with 64 today. He shoots his 64 over on the Kings Barnes course. And then there's 4 7 under par 65s, one of which is still out on the golf course. Paul Dunn, he's not finished for the day. But and Paul actually recorded a hole-in-one on 15. So, you know, congratulations to him. Nice little day.
I'll tell you what, though, you watch him. I mean, you look at Harrington here. He hit it in there close. I mean, you know, they're hitting some good golf shots. But, again, like we said, conditions are so benign, you know, they've got a chance.
Well, interestingly, if you look at the leaderboard, you can definitely tell that between Kings Barnes, the old course at St. Andrews, right now Carnoustie is playing the toughest. It has historically played the toughest. So, and if you look at the simple leaderboard right now, 2 8 under pars, 4 7 under pars. There's a 6. There are 5, 6, 7 5s. There's 5 4s. But you got to go all the way down to 4 under par. Martin Keimer and Thorborn Olsen both shot 4 under on Carnoustie. So really, you know, 4 under at Carnoustie is like shooting, you know, 8 under at Old Course. Old Course for these guys right now with the length and the technology, and we talked about it with Al Cloyd. Mm-hmm. You know, it's kind of we saw it in the Open, but then we didn't see it in the Open because of the weather.
They had some bad
weather dictated.
Yeah, exactly.
So
they shot low starting out, and then all of a sudden, boom! Here they go.
Yeah, we watched Dustin Johnson. Thought he was gonna run away with this thing and shoot, you know, 8 under each day. And you and I were jokingly talking about it, you know, during the Open Championship this year. You know, what does 24 under win it? You know, and then all of a sudden, Mother Nature stepped back in and hooked up with the old girl, and said, "Okay, boys, you know, this thing may not be long, this thing may not be tough, but she's still got some teeth."
I just think old Tom Morris got up there and got talking to Mother Nature and said, "We need to fix this, honey," and they did. So. You know, but you look at this. I mean, this looks like a summertime in Palm Springs. I mean, it really does.
Well, you know, I was kind of jealous this morning when I started watching the coverage, Hugh, in the fact that they got better weather than we do here. So, you know.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So, again, Dunhill Links going on. This is an annual tradition. It is a Pro-Am. It's just like Pebble Beach, where they play the Spyglass and Pebble Beach itself and Poppy Hills or Monterey Peninsula. So, of course, there at St. Andrews, there's I think 7 or 8 golf courses they can choose from. But they do play Kings Barnes, which is a phenomenal golf course. They play the Old Course St. Andrews, and then, of course, Carnoustie, which if you haven't had the opportunity of seeing Carnoustie on the coverage, please do so because it looks phenomenal. It's the best look I've seen it in many years.
And that golf course is tight as Dick's hat band, dude. I'm telling you, that golf course, everybody, you look at it and think, okay, there's no trees, it's wide open, it's links, but it's tight. I mean, you can miss a fairway and you're out of bounds.
Well, I find it interesting. I talk to a lot of players here in Myrtle Beach, Hugh, and they come to Barefoot, for example, and where the courses are touted to be link style.
Yeah.
And I spoke to a Scottish gentleman who was in visiting with us for 2 weeks, and he came by Sunday, and he is actually a member of Larkin.
Okay.
And so he is a single-digit handicapper, and he said he's been so looking forward to coming to the Grand Strand for a vacation, and he had his pro at Larkin actually call over here and get him on at Barefoot at the Die Club, and he wanted to play Fazio. And he says, well, I went out and played Die Club today. And I says, you're great. How'd it go? And he goes, it's not links.
No.
He goes, although we're at Larkin, we're very close to the water, but, we have such a rocky soil, a sandy soil. We can get 1.5 inches of rain, but yet you still bounce the balls into the green. So I tell you, what are we going to do with Al Cloyd? What are we going to do with him? Go make some money, Al. Okay. Lord have mercy. I got to deal with this? Huh? And listen to Jeff. He's dying. Okay.
Oh, God. The off-camera stuff is
Thank you,
good,
Dr. Grind. Appreciate that. I wish we had a camera over there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, he was actually over-representing himself.
Yeah.
We could get him for false advertisement. You know that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right, so he's real quick to point out that our softness of the ground, although we are sandy soil also, but however, our run-ups and things of this sort on here on the beach, Hugh, we don't get the firm surfaces right after a rain like they do. It'd be several days. We'd have to go with some pretty good wind, low humidity, and then for us to get that surface capability for us to run shots up onto the green. And he just said, well, it took some getting used to. I just have to fly the ball to the hole.
Yeah.
Where at home, you don't even think about flying the ball to the hole.
Yeah, you run it up.
He goes, you could be playing in a downpour, and you still don't think about flying the ball to the hole. Yeah. So, great opportunity to share some stories with him. It was wonderful to hear about him and the club over there and what they charge for membership. And then he pulled out his membership card, and then he pulled out their GIN system and how that's handled all through software. And their process for determining handicaps, phenomenal. I never knew it was that in depth, but I never knew it was that easy.
Yeah.
It's much simpler than the way we deal with it. Much simpler. And they actually base course rate. They don't have course ratings. They actually base a individual day of play, whether it's a tournament or just a recreational round. You can go to the pro at the particular course you're playing at over there, and they will have a course rating for the day.
Okay. Based on conditions, weather, so on and so forth.
Exactly.
And that makes sense. And, for a long time, honestly, George, their handicaps, they didn't count towards, your score did not count towards your handicap unless it was a tournament-type condition.
Score, yeah.
I mean, that's how theirs were more legitimate than ours ever thought about being.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. But I mean, to hear the way they do that's cool.
I asked him, I said, are your handicaps based on tees? Like here, whites or golds or whatever the tips are, and, greens, whatever the seniors are. And he goes, no. He goes, You just simply go out, and the course rating is this for this day. And so thusly, he said, you know, if you're a 2 handicap and you shoot this, then it's just factored into the course rating for the day. And if you made the wrong decision and played the wrong tees, that's your fault.
Yeah.
Interesting, wasn't it?
Yes, very.
So there's not,
Very.
and he says this gets rid of the fact that you have to wait for somebody to come out and rate your golf course. Because he said on some days, the sheep may be on this tee box, and so they'll play it as a par 3 versus a par 4 because they're herding.
That's funny.
Is that not good?
That's funny.
That's golf.
I know.
That's the home of golf. He said there was a hole on his course that they had a washout. They literally had ground give way and wash out. And he said they ended up having to turn it into a par 3 versus a par 4, just simply for safety issues.
Sure.
And he said, did it affect our course rating? He goes, yeah. The pro just determined each day that, okay, now this is playing as a par 3, but he put the slope rating based on the par 3. But in actuality, he said it still played as a par 4 because it was always into the wind.
Couldn't get there.
Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, my Lord.
He's lost his mind.
Please, Brother Jeff, please. Okay. Oh, my gosh. I knew he crawled for a living. All right, dude. Something else is going on this week, and it's vitally, vitally, vitally important.
Yep.
And this relates back to our many conversations about the old Q school.
Yep.
And this is what our Q school has turned out to be now in the modern day golf industry, and that is the finals of the Web.com Tour. And it is this week, the
Tour
fourth round.
Championship.
This is it.
This
This
is
is
it.
like Eastlake for Web.com.
Exactly, and it's down on the die course,
Valley.
the Valley course at TPC, which honestly, folks, I think's harder than the stadium course.
I agree.
It's tighter, it's longer. It's a rough golf course, and you're going to see your premier better players play well this week and do some things, but it's going to give some guys a chance to kind of come from out of the picture to where they can get their tour cards. So it's always fun to watch this part of what's going on this week.
Well, for some guys, this is their livelihood. This is them having a card and some place to call home next year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is big, just big enough as far as whether they go the tour or whether they stay on the Web.com tour.
Or they don't even stay on the Web.com.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain guys already, a couple from around here, they're not even there to be able to try to keep it. They've already lost it. They're getting ready for tour school.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, it's a different ball game. I mean, things nowadays, it's a lot more cutthroat than it used to be. Even though it was cutthroat back then, at least you had opportunities. Now, you better get there.
And we always love the old Q school, the stories that came out of that. You know, this guy was roofing 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now he's about to play on the PGA Tour.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you went to Q school, you dealt with those 7, 8, 9 days that you were there, and the multiple rounds and the, you know, the painful, oh, if he makes this putt, he makes it, and if he doesn't, you know, and thusly, those people now, you wonder where are they?
Yeah.
You know, because most of them just got out of golf.
A lot of them have. I mean,
Yeah.
I did the video the other day, just first time I swung a club in a while when Doc gave me permission to swing, and I got responses from David Ogren, Charlie Bowles. You know, are you getting ready to play? I said, if I can get 100%, who knows?
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, just it's funny how these people come out of the woodworks, and these are guys. You know, David Ogren's won on the tour, but yet, you know, he had to play this tour for a while. You know, and it's amazing the people you get to know and the connections that you keep in this game of golf, and that's what's so wonderful about it.
And we see names that we've come to know over the last several years, like Jonathan Vegas, Billy Hurley III. We see names that, man, I thought they were on the PGA Tour. Or, man, I thought there was no issues with them. Or, I mean, Jonathan Vegas just had a win 2 years ago, but he just went over his 2-year exemption.
So he's done.
So now he's got to go back and earn a spot back into the big show. So for him, this week is very important. He's number 25.
Now, trust me, him being a tournament winner on the PGA Tour, he will be able to play the web.com, but it is on space available conditional basis. He is a life member now that he's won on the PGA Tour. They don't take that away from you, but they're just giving him that opportunity to guarantee his spot.
Right. Well, you've got players in the web.com Tour finals at the Valley Course at TPC in Jacksonville. You've got players that have already earned a PGA Tour card for next year.
They're just trying to improve their number.
Their status.
Yeah, they're trying. So, you've got Patton Kazir, number 1. He's exempt. Nobody's going to knock him out. Whoever finishes number 2 after this week will be the next number 1. So they will be exempt. After that, you've got people that could go from number 20 to number 3. And look at the numbers, or even if they go to number 5, look at how many numbers they improve on that list. Because, again, even though you get your tour card, you're not guaranteed to get into every event. You will see a lot of these guys won't get into Colonial, your limited fields, the Phoenixes. I mean, Phoenix, you might have 3 to 5 guys off of this web.com get into Phoenix because it's such a popular field. Everybody plays. So the higher your number, the higher your number, the better it is. Hilton Head, the higher your number,
Greenbrier,
the better chance you got to get in. So that's what they're fighting for right now. They're fighting for every spot, every inch they can move up that board on as far as the final board.
As far as their status.
Yeah, as far as the final money leaders to get their status up as high as they can.
Right. Well, interestingly, the name that we've been following for years, and I know you do too, as far as you guys out there in the golfing world, worldwide, you of course know of Sam Saunders, the grandson of Arnold Palmer. And Sam Saunders right now is in the lead through 17 on the Valley Course. He's at 6 under par through 17. He starts the day in 12th position. He doesn't have a tour card secured on the PGA Tour. So he is fighting to be in the next 25 cards that's going to be handed out from this event.
Yes.
Already 25 handed out. Now, the top 25 out at Sunday afternoon when this thing's over, or Monday, whenever it finishes. But at the end of this event, another 25 cards will be handed out. And Sam Saunders wants to be there. I mean, he has chosen golf as his profession, just like his grandfather. And having Arnold Palmer as your grandfather, I can only imagine how great that would be.
Yeah.
But, again, he's having to fight through the system. He's not being treated as the legend's grandson.
As the royalty.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't get automatic exemption. He may get some corporate identification just because of his grandfather, but he's having to go out there and fight for his profession. And this is no different than you and I do every day in the corporate world. So
Gary Nicholas had to do it.
Exactly.
So it's about go out there and earn it. You earn it, you get it.
Ryan Gibson is at 5 under par through 15. He started on the back. D.H. Lee is 4 under. Kyle Stanley's at 3 under. We go down the list here. Ches Reeves at 2 under through 15. Henrik Norlander, who has European Tour, several years of European Tour experience. He's trying the web.com tour without a card right now. He's sitting pretty good. He's in 3rd position to start the tournament, and he's moved 1 position so far at 2 under par. But all this is day 1, folks, so it's going to change pretty dramatically over the next couple of days. A name I wanted to bring up, Hugh, of course, a local boy. Everybody knows of him now after Big Break and things like that. Tommy Gainey. He is right now, he started the tournament this week at tied for 84th. If he maintains at 2 under or T10, which is the position he's currently at in the event, if he finishes there, he moves up 42 spots to 42. He's going to have to play better than that. He wants to be in the top 25.
He's got to be. I mean, because that's the thing. People look at it and they go, well, you got 25 cards coming off the web.com. Then you got 25 cards coming out of this last kind of playoff series. It's a different ball game. And then they go to the actual tour school itself. It's just weird how they've done this. There's 50, and then they go down and there's 25 that come out of the actual tour school itself and to build up for the web.com. And I guess they give 50 there and then they come out. That's just for the web.com and then go conditional. But it's just you got to play well. And the fun part about this tournament, George, and it's no different than when we used to play at Setting Down Creek in Atlanta for the Tour Championship or wherever they played. Watch Saturday and Sunday, because if you want to see some choking, folks, you will see it.
Well, especially Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Especially Sunday. One individual that, we have interest in, again, because of his dad, Kevin Tway, Bob Tway's son.
Yes.
Kevin, Oklahoma State, again, out there trying to earn his PGA Tour card. He's already been at the web.com tour level for a couple years now, and he just can't seem to get over the hump. But he starts today at 62nd position. He's already lost 5 positions just on his plays so far today. He's through 13. He's +1, so he's gone from 62nd to 67. He's going the wrong direction, bud.
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
It doesn't take long either.
Dickie Pride, he's already earned his card, but he's playing in this event. He's +1 through 10. Michael Putnam is started the day at 43. He's dropped 11 positions to 54, and he is 2 over par through 14. So, again, we sit and look at some of these names and names that we know. Greg Chalmers, he's at web.com final. He started the day at tied for 74th. He's already dropped down 4 positions to 78. He is 3 over par through 11. So we sit and watch, and one individual that you've often brought up his name, and I watched a meltdown from him last Sunday on the back 9. This individual ended up shooting 41 on the back. And it basically, he had things locked up to obtain his tour card last week. And because him shooting 41 on the back, which included a double and then a bogey, by him doing that, and that double was a 4-putt, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
By him doing that, he's now dropped himself into a conditional position this week to where if he doesn't fire it up and light it up, he's not going to have a job next year, and that's Robert Garrigus.
Yes. That's hard to believe, too.
He goes from absolute nirvana.
Yeah.
At the turn last week, he had it. It was done. And then all of a sudden, you talk about choke, the wheels came off. And I thought he was going to cry on 11.
And I'm going to tell you what, though, at Ohio State, that's not hard to do because the Scarlet is a tough
It's
golf
a tough
course.
track. Look at the winning scores. You got 3 under, 4 under after 4 days.
I know.
5 under par.
That's a golf course there now.
Yeah, it's a golf course because these guys, they're used to seeing 22, 23, 24 under win these events.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the Scarlet track at OSU was
It's
giving
for
them
real.
everything they wanted.
It's for real. There's no
But,
question.
again, you don't 4-putt and make a double and then start a downward slide that you don't catch up with at all. He ends up shooting 5 over par on the back and falls outside the top 25. He had gotten as high as number 9.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
His back 9 causes him. Robert starts today at 12:20 Eastern Standard Time. He's in 33rd position. He hasn't teed off yet, folks, and he's already dropped 5 spots to 38.
Yeah, it's kind of irrelevant, though.
It is irrelevant. I agree. But, again, he's fighting for his life.
Oh, yeah. If he goes looking at those numbers, he's fried. He won't have a chance. He needs to go out and play and not worry about where it's falling to or what's happening. Go out and shoot your score, try to play the best you can, and move up. And you go worrying about how far you've fallen or whatever, that'll eat you alive.
He's playing with Ryan Armour, who is in 31st position, hasn't teed off yet, and he's dropped 5 positions to 36. And the way these guys drop 5 positions, 4 positions, whatever it may be, and they haven't even teed it up yet, the others that are already out on the course and playing well, they have moved up, and thusly the adjustment.
And it's based off if that's where they actually finished at this point. That's how they come up with that.
in relation to the position of the course itself. There are 61 players out on the track right now.
Yeah.
So, again, Lucas Glover is in the group going off this afternoon. Derek Ernst, Harold Varner III, Billy Hurley III, as we talked about, Scott Langley, Davey Vanderwalt.
Davey.
Yep. We've talked about him from European Tour. Hiroshi Iwata is going out this afternoon. Jamie Lovemark, again, Brian Davis, Derek Fathauer. These are all names that we've seen, heard, read about, or listened to on the PGA Tour. Jonathan Bird, another name. You just don't picture him being at the Web.com Tour final.
Oh, it's like a couple of years ago, he and Lucas Glover were in the playoff up at the Wells Fargo.
Exactly.
And now all of a sudden, poof, here he is down there fighting to, he's going to have status because he's a life member of the PGA Tour, but he's not as prevalent, not going to get in as many events.
Well, right now, he doesn't even have a tour card secured because he's in 37th spot starting today. However, he's dropped 10 spots already to 47th, and he hadn't even teed it up.
And he won, Las Vegas a couple of years ago, didn't he? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this will get him back on the web.com as far as being a life member and a tour winner. But, again, folks, as far as the PGA Tour goes, it's going to be on, the John Deeres and the smaller events that don't get the bigger players that these guys will get a chance to get in that are life members. Some of these other guys, they'll be out of the picture. They go to tour school, they don't make it, they're gone.
Aaron Baddeley hasn't teed off yet. He starts the day tied for 67th. That's a big move he's got to make. He's already dropped 13 points to tied 80. Aaron Baddeley.
That was a good player. I don't understand. It blows my mind. But
that was him and Adam Scott were the young guns.
The young guns, yeah, from Australia.
And then, if y'all remember, Anthony Kim was in that, and we've already talked about Anthony today on Roundtable.
Yep, that's true.
Everybody sat and watched Anthony Kim play golf, and we said, this guy has no remorse. This guy has no fear. This guy has no nerves.
Yeah.
He lines up and just fires at every pin. And now we sit there and listen to him taking insurance payments on a monthly scale, and he'll probably never come back to the game. So he's had 7 surgeries in the last 5 years, Anthony Kim.
Wow.
So he's going to be one of those individuals that 10 years from now, you and I hope we're here talking about it. You and I are going to say, what happened to him? Where are they now?
Yeah, where are they now? Yep.
We'll have to get Oprah involved.
There we go.
So Matthew Coggin, here's a name, familiar. He's out fighting for a tour card, starting at 78th position. Oh, he's dropped 11. 89th. The names, Tim Herron. He's back out there. Lumpy's back out there. This Tim has been around since I was, high school?
Yeah. But, again, George, you got to look at it from the standpoint he's got nothing to lose because he's going to be able to play the web.com. That's the thing people don't understand. If you're a tournament winner, a life member, you've made 150 cuts on the tour, you've got a spot. May not be on the tour, it may be on the web.com, but you've got a place to play.
These guys want to play the tour.
Sure they do. That's why they're out there trying.
That's right. It's a different lifestyle.
Oh, absolutely.
It's different money.
Minor leagues versus major leagues. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, Boo. President's Cup's coming up this coming week. We talked a little bit about it in Roundtable.
What you let us
the players.
Talk about,
yeah. Right now, your predictions, what do you see? Do you see the U.S. just continuing their winning streak, or do you see the international team giving them a run because it's in South Korea?
I honestly think this might be a little closer than what people are giving it credit for. I think Nick Price has kind of taken hold of this thing since they gave it to him. You can see the difference in his facial expressions and in his attitude, the way he's coming across talking about this thing, and he's trying to push these guys. So I'm hoping that, Pricey gets in there with his fire and gets these guys going and creates a pretty competitive situation. Whether they win or not, as long as it's close, it's going to help the President's Cup. But if they beat us, then I think it could start that whole fire again just from the other side. But they're battling Mount Everest right now against the Ryder Cup.
Well, yeah, as a team
just
format
because,
type
just because
event.
of the rivalry that's been created that we talked about earlier. I mean, this is, like I said, the Falcons and the Saints rivalry compared to where the other is, the Steelers and the Browns back in the day, or
Sure.
Green Bay and Minnesota,
Chicago.
whatever, Chicago. So it's just a matter of creating it to where people get an interest in it. So now all of a sudden the rivalry becomes part
Well,
of it.
the marquee interest already is absolutely is everybody's already predicting or anticipating, Jason Day, Jordan Spieth, head-to-head, stroke play, final match play.
They've got to. They've got to.
So those are going to be paired against one another, whether they're out first, they're out in the middle for TV coverage, or they're out on the end as the anchor. Who knows?
But it's got to be that for ratings in general.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because that's what people will watch. They'll watch it just for the sake of watching it.
Mm-hmm.
So how they do it, we'll
But
just
in
have to see.
actuality, we're going to be sitting here and watching Sang Moon Bay play Bubba Watson, or we're going to be, if Jim plays, is he going to be able to, play okay with the injury? Louis Oosthuizen now, of course, we highlighted that he pulls out of Eastlake, so obviously there's an injured issue there. Is he going to be replaced, or is he going to play? Excuse me.
And then do they put the two taped up injured guys playing each other? I mean, who knows? Keep it fair.
The crutch match.
Let's keep it fair. Yeah. The
Send them out in wheelchair.
The wheelchair match. Yeah.
I love it. I like that. That's good. So It's South Korea, the time difference. It's going to be interesting. We're going to be bringing you coverage right here on TGD. And, of course, we'll be Brian and myself and Hugh, and we'll be popping in and out and doing coverage of the President's Cup, which I look forward to. I'm excited. Again, I wish some different people had been put on the U.S. squad just simply for cultivating purposes, if you just want to narrow it down.
Yeah, well, apparently, Wahlberg or who is it? Is it Mark? No, it's not Wahlberg. The new movie Martian. Apparently, they're growing food on Mars now. So
What's that got
We'll
to do
see.
with anything?
well, I mean, you talk about cultivating. I mean, what you're trying to cultivate
Oh,
in
man.
as you
Well,
say.
you went out on a limb there.
But as you say, the PC correct.
Yeah.
Politically correct way to do things, or
Well, you know what? I look at it, Bud, and I'm agreeing with you. You predicted this. I've already given you your kudos. I've eaten tons of crow with this, but this is Mickelson's last hurrah.
oh yeah, no question. And I don't have a problem with what you said as far as putting the younger guys in there. It's just not going to happen when you've got an older captain running this thing. If you want to do that, you've got to put Phil or somebody like that as your captain.
This is pretty much the powers that are behind the mahogany doors, as we often refer to them. They said, okay, Phil's not making the Ryder Cup team.
No.
So he needs to be put on the team, Jay. Just go ahead and make him one of your picks. You can take your son. That's great. He played his way up to that position. But take Phil because this is his last playing hurrah.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and then like you said so eloquently at the beginning of our shows today, he and Tiger more than likely will be assistant captains at the Ryder Cup next year at Hazeltine.
Davis made that statement. So,
Yeah.
I think that'll be something interesting to see.
So we're being fed as the golfers that love the golf industry, and we're the one that feeds it the money that it needs to survive, including the $20+ million that Jordan Spieth, won this year. And Michael is caddy, who has obtained over $2 million in revenue without his bonus yet.
And we'll probably get a lot more than that. So
Probably.
Kudos
So
to them.
we're the ones that are feeding that cow, okay?
Yep.
And we are fed those little driplets of information. And, again, I think what we've done here at the Golf Director is basically laid out that next year these are going to be a couple of the vice captains for Davis Love III on the Ryder Cup team. And then it's going to be interesting now because the clock starts, like Darren Clark stated so eloquently this
Yes.
week. His qualification point gathering system under the RNA started 3 weeks ago. For Davis Love, it starts this week.
Yeah.
And so now both captains are going to be looking at those players. And then, as Darren so expertly put it again, is come April, May, June, that's when he's going to start narrowing it down.
Yeah.
So he says, I'm excited for Augusta this year because I want to look and see my European players that are going there for that major championship. He goes, if Jordan keeps playing the way he plays, it doesn't matter how they play. But he goes, I'm excited to see the Rorys and see him come back and give him a run for the money. And I tell you, Darren Clark could not have been more eloquent this week as far as his accolades of Jordan, of Jason, of the other worldwide players outside of Europe that have just dominated the 2014-2015 wraparound season.
Well,
So
it's just like we've got a new Fantastic Four, or the four, like
The
we
four.
had in the old days,
Yeah.
you know. So
it's going to be a
interesting.
lot of fun.
It will be.
And we need to do a year-end show. We need to do a recap. So I want to do shots of the year, best shots of the year, things like that. So we need to put that together and then do that before our year-end, of course, calendar year-end coming up in a couple of months. So
Okay.
let's
Sounds
do
good.
that. All right, TGD Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for thegolfdirector.com. When you're visiting the Golf Director, be sure to check out those featured course pages. You'll see them listed that give you course conditions, specials that you can find there, and much more. If you need help with your next golf vacation, you can just call Dave. Give us a call right here at the Golf Director, 844-GO-GOLF-1, 844-464-6531. All of our programming is archived for listening and viewing on demand. Catching up on any snow. I do that every week. Show you may have missed, you can just click on the TGD Radio or the TGD TV tabs in the menu screen at thegolfdirector.com. We're now available on over 1
billion
devices at iTunes, Audio Realm, TuneIn, YouTube, Ustream, Roku, Periscope, Catch.me, Blueberry, and Myrtle Beach Golf app. George Honeycutt, HR3, Hugh Roy III, and, of course, Jeff behind the glass. We want to thank all of you for tuning in on TGD today, and be sure to stick around because there's a ton more golf news and information coming up next.